I really wish you could put your sword and shield away so you could just properly stand, not ready for battle, and just behold Marin singing. Or rather, I wish you could just sit down and listen to Marin singing, but I guess that's not the point, is it? No. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. So, last time we got started here. We ended up on Koholint Island and got our sword and shield back. So today, we are going to head over to the mysterious forest. But before we do that, I want to give you some tips and tricks, first off. So, first things first, chop down as much grass as you can. Because over here is probably the best spot to do it. And why you want to chop down grass is because, well, they yield rupees, which you're going to need for certain things later on. You can actually do a fair amount of side stuff, like, right away. Like, well, technically, as soon as you get your sword, you can very easily, you know, do a whole bunch of side things in Mabe Village right here and right now. However, that's not what we're here to do. However, well, you'll see. You'll see. I don't want to have to repeat myself over and over again like I generally like to do, but if this is your first time watching, well, thanks. But also, I'm not that good at talking. I'm trying. But regardless, here's someone we didn't visit. Ho, 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 ho. My Bow Wow is so proud of his fine fur coats. Sorry, but what fur? If you know chain chomps, they typically don't have fur. They more or less have skin. I don't know. But what I do know is that apparently she really likes chain chomps to have pets. And you know what? In this universe, that's okay. Because normally we'd be terrified by them. But, you know, that's not necessarily the case for us here and now. So, yep. Oh yeah, and this game has auto-saving, so that's the thing. But fortunately, they have a separate autosave file for this, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. Plus, you have 3 save files, so you're good. You're good on that department. You are very much good. Anyway, we're heading to the mysterious forest today. Moblins ahead. They're not friendly. Well, I'm not that friendly either. So let's go. As soon as someone takes control from us. Woot! Ho, brave lad. On your quest to wake the dreamer, welcome to the mysterious forest. Much of mystery you will find on this uncharted Koholint Island. I'm afraid you may find it a trifle difficult to leave the island while the windfish naps. By the by, have you visited the Tail Cave, which is south of the village? Go there with the key you find in this forest. The windfish is watching. Woot! Sure. I'll keep an eye out on this Tail Cave and also the other stuff. We got moblins. So, typically this is where your shield play comes into play. So, if you're an expert at the shield, then you would know to hold down R in order to raise up the shield against the moblin spears, and that's your chance to attack. So that's all well and good. However, most times you'll find a power-up called the Guardian Acorn. Now, this is very useful because the Guardian Acorn protects you from, well, reduces the damage you take by half for a little bit. This is just one of 2 power-ups that you'll find in Link's Awakening. And once again, very unique of Zelda to actually have power-ups rather than, you know, the standard, you know, items to help you power up. And you know, this game does follow the typical Zelda formula down to the line. At least the typical 2D Zelda, you know, adventure down to the last ladder. In that you're in a top-down view and you have a map. And unfortunately, I think Link's Awakening remake kind of ruined 2D Zelda games for me. Or rather, the Zelda games that go screen by screen. Because in the original Link's Awakening, if you recall, just like all other 2D Zelda games at the time, well, probably with the lone exception being Link to the Past, that would be that each game goes by, or yeah, the sole exception being Link to the Past and Zelda 2, because that was a different type of game altogether. Because screen-by-screen Zeldas are now ruined for me, because this game now treats it as, hey, this is one big world. You don't have to go screen-by-screen anymore. You're good. You're fine. This is a modern game. Yeah, so... yeah, you're just moving on one continuous map now, which is awesome. I can't handle screen-by-screen anymore. I'm sorry. I never want to go back to the original ever again. Well, this being my first experience with Link's Awakening, what do you expect? And oh my god! Wow! I've never seen these two power-ups together before. And yes, two power-ups, because the other power-up is the Piece of Power. This will increase your attack by double. So, feel free to chop away, and each power-up, the Guardian Acorn and the Piece of Power, they boost your speed a little bit too. So that's good. And I'll also tell you another thing about the text in this game after I talk to this fairy. This is the great fairy of this game. You still got plenty of pep. Come see me when you feel like you can't go on. Trust me, in hero mode, you'll be seeing this great fairy a lot. Because you're on the verge of dying, and there are no hearts, and there are no recoveries with the exception of potions, and yeah, that's just that's just the great fairy you'll be seeing a lot for your heals. Because again, you can only withstand 3 hearts right at the start. Hi. As a raccoon, my nose is very sensitive to stuff like dust and powder. Okay. Oh, you're going to be lost thanks to me. Well, frick frack. Well, looks like we're gonna be lost in here, except we have a map. So unfortunately, you can't proceed over to this place on the map, I believe. And this is where my 2D Zelda brain, whenever I had a 2D Zelda brain, would get lost and be like, okay, I'm lost, I don't know what to do, I give up. But very thankfully, I practiced! So, you want to go in here, I think. Yeah, you want to go in here. Because we'll be finally introduced to caves. So in these caves, this is where, you know, the Zelda games will be screen by screen. This is where the game goes screen by screen, which I don't mind this. So, in here, you want to avoid the keys and also get those choo-choos at work. And then push away these boulders. And that will lead you over here to this place where you want to get this. A toadstool. As you hold it over your head, a mellow aroma flows into your nostrils. But the question is, what do you do with it? there is really no indication, unless you decided to go over to that freaking skull place that you briefly saw before at the very beginning. Because I am a master of foreshadowing like that. Except I'm not really a master of foreshadow, but you know what I mean. So, we went over here briefly while I was talking about various things. You may have noticed this place. That place is a place of interest, so you want to head over there. If you went over there for the first time, that's basically your prompt to tell you that, hey, you might need something in the mysterious forest in order to progress. So, yeah. The key, if you don't want to use a walkthrough, is explore, explore, explore. That way, you might be able to run into something new. It's just like my favorite video game series of all time. I believe it's called JRPG series, where eventually you become God. Oh wait, that's every series. Never mind. Anyway, avoid those things. And also those auras too. You can't deal with them right now, but you will be able to deal with them soon enough. Sorry about that.
Ah, it has a sleepy toadstool, it does. We'll mix it up in a jiffy, we will. It's all ready, it is. Take care, as there's not much there. Why not try a bit in my hut?
This witch lady will give you a first item, magic powder. Go to the subscreen plus and set it to either X or Y. And that brings me to something, actually, that's very, very much appreciated for this remake. In the original game, you set 2 items, right? To B and A. And that kind of sort of presented a problem. Because there were no dedicated buttons for the sword and shield and some other items that you'll find later on.
Good job. Use it on your enemies and see what happens. If you run out, go to the forest, pick up some toadstools, and I'll make you some more. Come back without a toadstool, and you may have to pay a price for my leftovers.
I like your rat. The rat's cool. In this house, we appreciate rats, but anyway. Yeah, in the original Link's Awakening, no matter what, you had to set the vast majority of your items to the B and A button. And that meant a lot of switching out your items. There was no dedicated button for the sword and shield or any future items that we might have. But, very thankfully, the remake decides, hey, maybe we should actually put the sword on the proper attacking button, and maybe we should put the shield on the proper button as well. And yeah, yeah. So maybe we should stop being annoying, because that was one general complaint about the Link's Awakening, was that the item switching got a little bit tedious. And one other thing that was kind of tedious, which is actually greatly minimized, was the fact that every single time you got a Guardian Acorn or a piece of power, you would get that same message over and over and over again about, hey, you got a Guardian Acorn or a piece of power. Your blah 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 has increased. And you have to sit through that text just mashing the A button every single time. But thankfully, you can just skip that text entirely now, which is very much appreciated. And about these. This text. Wow, this looks pretty heavy. You won't be able to lift it with just your bare hands. That text. That text was probably more annoying than anything else for those of you who have actually played through this game wholly. Because every time you accidentally ran into a vase or a big boulder or anything like that, that text would appear saying, hey, this looks pretty heavy. You might not be able to lift it with just your bare hands. And it's just like, oh God. Even I felt that. But very thankfully, the text won't trigger whenever you accidentally run into them. You can only trigger it whenever you've done the things. Bye. The last thing I can remember was biting into a big, juicy toadstool. Then I had the darndest dream. I was a raccoon. Yeah, sounds strange, but sure was fun. I'm all tuckered out. I think I better say the spell before heading home. Sure thing, Mario. I like your super mushroom collection, by the way. It's really nice. Anyway, we needed the magic powder in order to turn the raccoon back to normal. And to get the tail key. Each dungeon has its own key that we need to, or at least its own way of entering it. So right now we can enter Tail Cave whenever we want to. Hi. Hoot! Take that key and go to the Tail Cave. Retrieve the instrument that is hidden there. Go now! The windfish is waiting. Hoot! Well, sure thing, kid. Sure thing. See, this is why during recording you need some water. So excuse me one moment. Oh my God. Ugh. Dude. That's why you need to have water with you at all times. Plus, it also helps that, or rather, it also doesn't help that this is my first recording session in, like, weeks. Yeah, if you probably didn't notice already, the reason why I cough like that and typically just have my voice strain like that a little bit is because usually my first recording session of a new Let's Play is like weeks after I finish the old one, which Pokemon Sword was finished like over a month before Part 86 got done. So, yeah, a bit of a little behind the scenes trivia for you. So, yep, that's typically how it goes. But anyway, we did do our objective for today. We got the tail key for the Tail Cave, which is our first dungeon. And we got a brand new item in the process too. However, I don't want to head over to Tail Cave just yet. Because we have all these rupees to burn, so why not use them for something? Because, let me tell you, these 2D Zelda games really, really like to not waste your time. So, very mercifully, which is probably what you're saying because these videos are mercifully shorter now because this is a shorter game. We are going to do some side things. It's probably only going to be like one side video anyway because there's really not much to do. But, you know, it will give us some preparation time before we head off to Tail Cave. I'm just petting out the video at this point, so I guess I'll stop. So on the next time with Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, we go around Mabe Village, and we'll see what we can do with these rupees. And get ourselves prepared for Tail Cave. So see you guys on the next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. I like swinging my sword. Swing the sword!